What's up, YouTube? So, beautiful day. I'm outside and I've only got one hoodie on, which is pretty crazy. But I got the Forester back. I do have a replacement cover to put onto the engine. It took a while to get here. Those kind of used parts get stopped at the border for some reason. This was ordered from the US. Hard to get a cover. Most places want to sell you a complete engine. So I'm sure if I looked hard enough I could have found one, but I'm going to start taking out the air box, and I might have to push some of these power steering hoses aside, get the ignition wires off, and then some 10mm bolts. And that's all it'll take to get that out of there. So yeah, basically I've done a video on valve cover gasket replacement before, if you look back through my videos. So I'm not going to get too detailed in this, but basically I'm just going to go through it, get the cover out. We'll see what this crack's all about, or you know, what the leak is coming from exactly, and why it might have been caused, and go about putting in the replacement cover and making sure it doesn't leak. So as you can see, I've gotten the air cleaner box out of the way, the ductwork going up into the throttle area, pulled off the wires, and I've gotten all the bolts to come out of the cover. It's ready to come out, and should just take a little wiggle of pop. Might be a little bit to maneuver out of here, but I've got to figure out that part next. So I finally got the cover out. I did have to take off a couple more things. I know there's another way to do this by, you know, you jack up the engine a little bit, and it creates a little bit more room for you to squeeze the cover out. But because I'm in my yard and my lawn's really soft, I have had to basically take out the fuel injector cover, that shield, out of there, and let the actual rail go and turn the injectors over to the side, and then the cover just came right out. As soon as I touched one of those injectors, it started seeping fuel. But the cover is certainly cracked, and if you can see it from the inside here, that whole piece, that whole bridge is broken. And when we look on the other side, this thing took a good punch at some point, and it's probably been in there broken for a long time, and just from, you know, being the winter time and wanting to keep the vehicle into the garage just to keep the frost off of it, that's probably what made them actually notice that there was a problem. I guess when I would go over there would often be petroleum stains in the driveway because it's always raining here. But now we've definitely found what the actual leak is, and I've got the replacement cover here. They actually did a nice job cleaning it up for me, and it's the identical cover. See, it took a couple little scratches at some point, but so basically I got to put the gasket on there. Put a little sealant, I think some sealant's got to go across the top, or maybe the bottom. I got to check the service manual, and then I'll start dropping that back down in there, get it all fastened up, and we'll just start it up, let it run. I'll rinse some of the oil that's dripped down just to make sure that's not going to be an issue, and just make sure it's not leaking. So yeah, I've got everything back together. The cover's a little bit difficult to get in and out of there still with all that stuff apart. It does take some maneuvering, but if you're actually gentle and just let the weight of it kind of move the weight of it around, it eventually drops right down in there. Doesn't even interfere with the gasket, so you don't have to worry about that. The cover is bolted from the center first, top center, bottom center, top right, left bottom, bottom right, left top, I think. All at 4.7 foot-pounds, basically 57 inch-pounds. And got it all tightened up. Got the wires all back in, airs all back together. I'm ready to run it. I'm a little bit worried about this rear number 3 fuel injector. As soon as I touched the electrical connector on it, I saw a little bit of fuel starting to seep from the O-rings. And this, she's had trouble with this thing. And even the fuel injector, or the fuel rail shield, I can tell it's taken a whack as well. So I don't know if this thing like rolled through the scrapyard or was damaged badly in an accident or something, but it's definitely showing the signs of taking a few hits while it was probably out of the car, but you know, maybe in the car. So I'm going to run it, double check for leaks, and decide whether I'm calling it good or not. Okay, so I've run it for a little bit. Definitely looked over the injectors, make sure they're nice and dry, because I don't want this thing leaking fuel. And they are. They look dry as a bone. There's going to be a little bit of, I mean, I did do a little wash. I tried to rinse off as much of the oil that's leaked out onto the exhaust and tried to rinse it out of there as best I could. Double check the oil level. The oil level is good. And I mean, it's going to smoke for a little bit, but it'll burn off, and probably in just a couple drives, and they won't notice a smell or any oil in the driveway anymore. And I'm kind of glad that I was able to get it diagnosed the way I did. I mean, I could have just called the valve cover gaskets and tried to put them in and then found the crack. So it's very important to take your time when diagnosing leaks like that. You want to make sure you nail it the first time. We've waited a couple weeks to get this cover, so it's absolutely just gorgeous weather today. I'm so happy I was able to do this outside, because I still have the STI in the driveway, and I'm ready to actually go back into the garage and start doing a few more things to the STI engine. So if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.